Welcome to Boxing During Dinner, episode 35.
Hold on.
What?
Well, every single week, or it seems every week, you talk about, Carlos Molina's this or somebody else that. But I would like everybody to know that you said not only would Amir Khan win this fight, but he was a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter. I think that's what you said.
I don't recall saying that.
Alex, go. Let's take some old footage. Let's see. I may be wrong.
And this weekend, David, Amir Khan, who I consider one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world, even though you guys don't agree, one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world, one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world, one of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world.
So it seems that I was correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I have said it a couple of times here and there, but you know what? Amir Khan probably should have won the fight. But yeah, a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter doesn't have that close a fight with Lamont Peterson.
Well, what I was saying before we started the show tonight is that maybe if boxing were 5 rounds, then Amir Khan would be one of the 5 best fighters in the sport. But this is something Lamont Peterson said about him as well, is that he's an energy fighter. So he fights in spurts, and he fights really well for periods of time. But then he has mental lapses. He doesn't fight well going backwards. When he gets hit, he's sturdy. He wants to fight back, but he loses his sense of balance and his focus on the game plan when he starts to get hit.
I still think he's a talented fighter. He just needs to work on his game a bit, because he's had trouble with 2 guys that have pressured him, like Marcos Maidana and now Lamont Peterson. And
we're gonna take a brief take a look here at some delicious Subway subs.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is Boxing During Dinner. We have a Michelob Amberbach. We have Subway
Well,
subs.
let's give credit where credit's due. Our beautiful friend Laura Espinosa, who's in today's studio audience and probably not going to want to be seen. Oh, there she is. She's texting. She delivered this delicious Michelob Amberbach, it's tasty. It's like a dessert in a bottle.
All right, so now we got the dinner out of the way.
Sorry.
So as I was saying, Amir Khan, after watching this fight, David, I do agree he's not a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter, and he's probably not the best 140-pounder. Tim Bradley is, but I still think that he beats Lamont Peterson in a rematch. You know, a lot of people are criticizing the referee for helping out Peterson, saying that he shouldn't have deducted those points. He was warning Khan too much. To some degree, I agree with it. To some, I don't. You know, he still needs to follow the rules. He can't, go pushing with his forearms and all that. But it seemed like I guess Amir Khan was in hostile territory. Which, you know what? Screw that, because when these fighters fight in England, they don't give a shit about if the other fighter is in hostile territory or not,
Exactly. And to be frank,
sorry, Kieran.
There's a lot of arguments you can make about the officiating and everything, but the point of the matter is it was Amir Khan's fight to lose, and he did lose the fight. It's a bigger statement that he should have gone out there and done the things he said he was capable of doing. He's been talking about Floyd Mayweather far before he ever entered the ring with Lamont Peterson, and regardless of where his mind was at, Lamont Peterson came to fight.
But this is what I don't get. Now that we're talking about that it was this fight to win. Here's Amir Khan, a guy who was highly regarded. Maybe people didn't have him in their top 5 pound-for-pound list, but they definitely had him in their top 10 pound-for-pound list. And Amir Khan, they're talking about him fighting Mayweather. They're talking about him fighting Tim Bradley. And here's the champion, probably the consensus top 140-pounder, and he's fighting in his opponent's backyard. I didn't get that whatsoever.
Well, you got to give Amir Khan credit, because I'm a self-professed somebody who doesn't like Amir Khan. I said it. But you have to give him credit for the fact that he will fight anybody. He does have that fighter's mentality. He'll go anywhere to make that fight happen. And his mindset never was that he was going to need the judges on his side. He predicted a knockout. He didn't think it was going to go the distance. And if it did, he didn't think Amir Khan was going to hold that Lamont Peterson would even hold a candle to him. Well, he was wrong. Lamont Peterson attacked the body. He was relentless. He didn't back down. He found what is definitely one of Amir Khan's weaknesses, which is to go underneath. Khan uses his long arms and his speed to take advantage of people and overwhelms them. So more psychologically he beats fighters than he actually beats them physically. And Lamont Peterson found a way to not only step through some of those shots, but get underneath, attack the body, and that was the difference in this fight.
And who would have thought at the beginning of 2011 that we'd be here halfway through December and the best Freddie Roach trained fighter at the end of the year will be Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Because it hasn't been a good year for Freddie. I mean, Jorge Linares lost, then Pacquiao, in the eyes of many, lost to Juan Manuel Marquez, and now Amir Khan. That leaves, Chavez as the reigning Freddie Roach champion right now. What does this say about Freddie Roach? I mean, do you think, I guess that Freddie Roach formula has been exposed a little bit?
Maybe to an extent, but you will never take away, and I certainly won't be someone to take away from Freddie Roach's contributions as a trainer.
Absolutely not. He's a great trainer.
And Vivek Wallace of FightHype.com is somebody who pointed this out, that it seems as if Freddie Roach trained fighters have a little bit of issue fighting going backwards, and that's something that definitely happened with Amir Khan. Definitely happened with Manny Pacquiao against Juan Manuel Marquez. They don't adjust well. They're taught to be offensive firepowers. The type of fighters that Freddie Roach works with are speed fighters with some pop in their hands, and that's very easy to mold those type of guys into offensive powerhouses. But when they have to start fighting backwards, when they get against somebody in the ring who can kind of match them, for balls, for lack of a better term, that's when they started to run into problems. And it seems as if Freddie Roach might have to work a little bit on not only varying the offensive game instead of coming forward, but in the situations where the other fighter's attacking and they're coming backwards, they need to learn to defend themselves and fight back.
I mean, I don't think Freddie Roach fighters such as Khan and Pacquiao will have nights like they had in the last couple of fights, because you could say Amir Khan lost his fight, but he could have won it. Same thing goes for Pacquiao. I mean, it could have been a draw, could have won. But David, getting away from that Amir Khan fight, because I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't like being wrong. So
I like being right. Well, even
Andre Ward and Carl Froch is this weekend. It's the finale of the super middleweight tournament. I don't think it'll be like the end of the bantamweight tournament that one of the guys will pepper the other guy's balls. But what do you think of that fight? I mean, my thinking is that Andre Ward is gonna box this guy's ears off, and he's gonna win a less than stellar fight, because he's the type of fighter that can make a fight really boring, but effective. Do you think that'll happen, or do you think Froch has a good chance of winning this fight?
Carl Froch continues to surprise me in every single fight. I thought of him at the start of the Super Six as a limited fighter. He's not. Carl Froch manages to make the best out of his skills. He adapts well to the people he's in the ring with. With that said, I think a lot of people are expecting, like you said, Andre Ward to box his ears off. I think Andre Ward's going to be in tough. He's going to have a hard time against Carl Froch, but he has arguably... Excuse me. Oh, that burp hit me right in the nose. Anybody else, you guys saw that? Yeah, studio audience saw that.
Yeah, Alex, you got to leave that in.
Leave it in, that's okay. Everything happens here. Andre Ward is a special talent, and I would argue that he's one of the three best boxers in the sport. I don't know if that means he's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters. But as far as boxing skills goes, there are a few people who can touch him.
Now, when you were saying the start of the Super 6 tournament, Carl Froch is like, you line up 6 women, right? Andre Ward is the hot chick, right? But Carl Froch is that one girl that you keep seeing, and out of all the 6, she gives the best blowjobs. Carl Froch is the blowjob master.
I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't think that's where you're going with that.
We can't say that Carl Froch is a blowjob master, but you know where I'm getting.
No, I actually think that was a terrible metaphor. But
yeah. I just wanted to keep on with the burping thing. We're making this like the man show now.
No, that went really
the next thing, hey, there's a stripper coming in.
Who knew? Not tonight.
No, but going back to Carl Froch, like you said, he's the type of guy that you kind of discount fight after fight. I mean, I thought Glenn Johnson had a good chance of beating him. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I'm a little biased because we love Glenn Johnson. We're here in Miami, and this is his hometown. He trains literally across the street from here.
Yeah.
But, he beat Glenn Johnson. He's done really well in this tournament, and he's proven that he belongs there with the top fighters in the world. And I think even if Froch loses, he could have a good rest of his career at 168 or 175.
Yeah, I agree. And let's not forget Carl Froch is in his mid-30s too. So maybe his chance at good fights is dwindling at this point. But
have you noticed most of the best fighters in boxing right now are in their mid-30s or even late 30s?
The two fighters who've looked the best in the past few months are Juan Manuel Marquez and Floyd Mayweather, who are both 34 and up.
And if you go, Bernard Hopkins is 47. Mayweather's mid-30s. Pacquiao's mid-30s.
Go figure. Maybe
Sergio Martinez.
Yeah, it was almost
38. Hey, I'm only
now.
in my low 30s. I'm only 31, and
I'm 27. That means you're probably in your prime, and I'm not.
No, I'm getting to my prime. I need to get to like 34, 35. Then
I'm gonna lose to Lamont Peterson pretty soon. No, but what's interesting to me about this final matchup is if you had asked at the beginning would Andre Ward and Carl Froch have been in the final, you would have been laughed at. It was the Mikkel Kesslers of the group. Even Arthur Abraham, Jermaine Taylor. Well, nobody was high on him, but he had a big name. And that brought a lot to the tournament. Andre Ward and Carl Froch were not supposed to be in this position, and here they are.
A guy that years ago would have won this, easy. It wouldn't have even been a contest. It's Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
And Roy Jones Jr. just beat Max Alexander in a fight that nobody gave 3 flying
Birds
about. And I was talking to Brad Jacobs, who was in Square Ring Promotions with Roy Jones and Roy Jones's prime, and he's been around for Roy's career for a long time. And I asked him, why does Roy keep fighting? And he told me that Max Alexander used to be a sparring partner for Roy Jones Jr.
How about that?
And he couldn't even carry Roy Jones' jockstrap. I mean, Roy Jones would just beat the shit out of him in the gym. I mean, he would play with him.
Armando's been a potty mouth tonight, hasn't he? Has anybody else noticed that? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm really tired. Alex is tired too.
Someone needs to give him a warm glass of milk. This guy.
We were at a Giants Dallas Cowboys game, not in Miami last night.
Yeah.
But Max Alexander, how does a guy who has this legacy like Roy Jones Jr. continue fighting and tarnish the legacy? Because yeah, he won every single round, but who cares? He beat Max Alexander.
I don't care. Y'all must have forgot that Roy was a good fighter at one point.
No, seriously. I tell people Roy Jones is probably the best fighter I've seen. And, when he was in his prime, I thought he was better than anybody I've ever seen. My dad's 86 years old. He saw Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson fight. All the greats, Muhammad Ali. And he said Roy Jones Jr. in his prime was one of the top 3 best fighters he ever saw. And to have that type of fighter turn into what he's become now. I mean, it's sad. I mean, it's not even his fault. I mean, there's just guys that think they could do it for a long time, and it's happened to the best of them. There's fighters that just fight for too long.
Well, he did stop Virgil Hill with a body shot. Y'all must have forgot. Yeah.
And he beat, I think,
Bernard Hopkins and won the
IBF. With a fractured wrist.
The right was hurt. He beat him with his left. Y'all must have forgot. Yeah. That's
so I beat him with a fractured wrist. Who was that?
David Telesco.
David Telesco.
He really asked for it. Wow. This episode is the best of the worst.
We know the lyrics of this song. The Roy Jones Jr. album.
Boxing During Dinner's reached a new low.
You know what? I had that album and I lost it at some point.
I don't blame you. Let's
all right, and see, this is something that David does care about, and I really don't care about. Vitaly Klitschko is going to fight Derek Chisora.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about that.
Derek Chisora lost to Tyson Fury. If your name is Tyson Fury, you should not be a top heavyweight. I mean, the heavyweight division is a joke. It's become the biggest joke of any division in the history of boxing.
Well,
I mean, it's worse than Teen Wolf 2. When Jason Bateman was a boxer.
Yeah, that's okay. We're really in terrible shape tonight. I'll be honest. I like the Derek Chisora fight. Yes, Vitaly Klitschko should destroy him, but Chisora just went and fought in Robert Helenius' backyard. Put a whooping on him.
Robert who?
Helenius.
Pattinson
from Twilight.
Twilight.
Yeah, he got a really raw
Might
deal.
as well.
Chisora on any given night can give Klitschko maybe one of the best fights he's had in years, but I still think Vitaly will
Tony
destroy
Tucker's
him.
gonna make a comeback.
Tony the Tiger.
And Donovan Razor Ruddock. I think the Klitschkos need to fight each other. If not, the heavyweight division has no fights whatsoever. They just need to get Holyfield's DNA and Tyson's DNA and just start cloning people
and bring them back. Yeah.
You know what? However you feel about cloning, and I don't know what your views are on that, but I'm all for cloning these past heavyweights because the division just stinks.
I'm going to pause you for a second. We've talked about, y'all must have forgot,
cloning
blowjobs. What else have we talked about tonight that's just totally awful?
Burps going
coming out of your nose. This is probably the worst episode of Boxing During Dinner.
But watch, but when it's edited... but when it's edited, it will look like the best episode of all time.
Let's hope. And let's just end it on a high note. Next week on episode 36.
It'll be the season finale.
The season finale of Boxing During Dinner. The end of our first year in 2011, our 36th episode.
Can you believe it's been 8 months?
It's been a while. This is what we call commitment in the relationship world.
Yes.
We're doing pretty well, you and me.
And we won't be as tired. Or maybe I will be. I think I'm flying in from the West Coast that day, but...
No sympathy from me. We're going to have...
I'll take a nap next week.
We're going to have a chef here in the studio. We're also going to have an entertainment lawyer who's known for some other things on our show as well. And it's going to be the Christmas edition of Boxing During Dinner.
And the chef is a lady, and she's really pretty, too.
Yeah, we're very lucky. Next week's going to be a good episode, so make sure you get some rest. And don't tell your wife who's back there.
Don't tell her.
Yeah.
And remember, boxingduringdinner.com, the website's up.
Yeah.
And next week we'll feature some merchandise of sorts that you guys might want to buy.
Yeah. And check out Twitter at Box During Dinner. Send us an email, boxingduringdinner@gmail.com.
You know who's gonna love this episode?
Tell me.
Kieran Mulvaney.
Yeah, because he's my favorite person in the whole damn world.
We love him. Kieran, we love you.
Yeah.